in the upper right here in the red. He is newly signed to Apprentice Esports, the Canadian Protoss player, DisK.
And his opponent, spawning down in the bottom left, also from Canada, also Protoss, also looking for that top 2. It is Asuna, representing Alpha X. And I gotta say, coming into this group, was not expecting Asuna to be challenging for a... Honestly, I didn't think he'd be challenging for a playoff spot, let alone challenging for top 2 in the group. But he has exceeded expectations. We casted probably the weirdest set of StarCraft games I've ever seen from Asuna. And we're seeing more of that right here, right now.
I was gonna say, Steadfast, you watching this? I mean, it doesn't get weirder than this. The Cybercore is proxied on the map for Asuna. I mean, granted, I believe, did you get the Asuna Neeb series?
Oh, we did, yes. Yep,
Okay,
got that on the A stream. That was the most wild StarCraft I've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you gonna elucidate on that? But that's, yeah, we're just gonna have to see what happens here. Wait, you see? Oh, that's a Stargate. Okay, I was like, he's proxying a Nexus. I see a big clump there, but no. Oh. Okay, is this something that he did to Neeb here, or is this just Asuna's entirely new shenanigans?
This is new. This is something I haven't seen, and it seems like this group may have been perfectly crafted for him, with PvP being a bit of a wild west in terms of what you can do. He did a proxy 3-gate versus Neeb and almost killed him, but managed to very successfully throw a pretty massive lead he could have gotten for himself. That series did end up going 2-1 for Neeb, but one of the messier series of StarCraft I've ever seen. I do like DisK's decision, by the way he's responding to this. He blocked out the Zealots. He's going just for the Stalkers. Gonna get a shield battery here. He has seen the shield battery. That's it. He has just seen the shield battery. He doesn't know about the proxy Stargate. This could get scary.
He's getting a Twilight. I feel like at this point, I mean, Asuna, we know he's all in. Yeah, the probe DisK knows this as well. He does not see any natural going on down here for Asuna. So maybe you drop an extra gateway, get a Stargate, something. Don't go Twilight here. Don't go, for 10 minutes down the line. You got to survive for the next 30 seconds here. That being said, we will see this Void Ray start to take some damage, but, Steadfast, Wise Man once said, shield batteries, they're scary. They're powerful indeed. So for the moment, nothing has died. Just a lot of things wanting to die. Not being allowed to do so. I feel like that's the story of Immortals as well in the lore, which is maybe a little bit dark. But anyway, now with 2 Void Rays, we're going to start to see some production get target fire down. Ideally, this pylon goes down for DisK, which means Asuna is just going to have so much of a production advantage. There we go. Going to get target fire on down here. Pulsar beams are turned on, but Shield Battery Return is going to keep things alive. And I believe a Stalker died, but that's going to be just about it.
Yes, 1 Stalker died, but he keeps that production alive. I can't believe he didn't reinforce this pylon. With this, he is adding on a 3rd gateway. He is going up into Blink, as you mentioned, but now there's a 3rd Void Ray here, and Prismatic Alignment is available for 2 of them. They're going to pop it and immediately snap that Stalker's neck. This is looking very scary. He is going to depower these production buildings. Asuna might have this in game number 1.
Yeah, I don't like this hold from DisK. I mean, going in Blink, yeah, it's going to be good eventually, but again, you got to survive 3 minutes to get to 5 minutes, right? So yeah, have an extra gateway, get a Stargate, do something. The gateway is going to be repowered, but that doesn't matter because there are no gateways to build anymore. And now at this point, we have the Void Rays. They're on the high ground. Asuna can realistically go and start to maybe try to find his probe up on the high ground, start putting some pylons, some shield batteries up there as well. And yeah, there are some more gateways finally for DisK. But at this point, we have these 2, I know he's going to get supply blocked here rather soon. We're going to see 1 pylon go down. Asuna is going to be able to target fire that 2nd one rather soon. And lost in the chaos. There's a Robo here as well, Steadfast.
There is. Yeah, he's getting an Immortal. I honestly think the Void Rays can win the game on their own. That being said, DisK is getting into Blink. So having that Immortal is going to be so insanely powerful. I don't see any way for DisK to break out of this. This feels like checkmate.
I mean, Blink Stalkers are good. You're not wrong. I mean, there is that traditional dichotomy of one player is Immortals, one player is Blink, but there are 4 Fortress on the field. There's an Immortal as well. Probes are going to get pulled to try to defend this, but now, yeah, the Stalkers, they're going to try to do what they can. Shield Battery Overcharge, plus Blink is doing a good job, but not a single Void Ray has died. Steadfast. 1 Zealot, 2 Probes are all that Asuna has lost in this game. He has had a rather, almost an impeccable game. Not quite, but certainly close enough here. And we're going to have a second Immortal soon. We're going to continue to have more Void Rays. Actually, he's not building more Void Rays, but certainly here on the 4 or 5 Void Rays that he has with these 2 Immortals, this is just a Stalker crushing army. And even with this Force Field,
yeah.
Oh, he's going to Force Field out 1 Immortal, but, I mean, not really taking the fight. It doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, the only thing that gets him is he triggers the barrier on one of those Immortals, which is great. That is really nice. Is that enough? No. I don't think so. There's 5 Void Rays still here. A 6th one soon to join the map. We're about to have a 3rd Immortal. This is so much firepower. It is, like you said, a Stalker stomping army, and the army of Stalkers is getting absolutely stomped. The probes around will come in on those Immortals, doing a good job of keeping them out of the fight, but he's losing all of his probes, only gets 1 Immortal. Battery overcharge does get popped, does not matter worth a damn, as Asuna takes game number 1 and puts himself a single map from top 2 in the group. What are we looking at?
A soccer stomp at the honky tonk is what we're looking at there, Steadfast. But what? You're not wrong when you said, okay, this other group's going to be Asuna. He's probably going to be bottom 2. All right, he's good, but this is his first season in DreamHack. I haven't really seen any thing of him, going to say any Apprentice or EPT Cups or whatever. And then he goes and he is 1 game away from 2-0ing DisK. By the way, who at DisK I had 100%. I had Neeb, DisK, Nina as my top 3 into this group, and then Mechanic or Vindicta, right?
Yeah. Yep. Same.
The fact that DisK is almost top 2, that he's potentially going to 2-0 DisK here. Steadfast, I feel like Group A in general in this season of DreamHack North America is just topsy-turvy land. It is the upside down. I don't know what's happening. I feel like I am, in dreamland. This is what my, fever dreams came up with, but it's happening. It's real. And we're just going to have to see how long I can stay asleep, how long these dreams can last.
They are, for many players, a nightmare too. Getting into the top of the group is really important because Neeb is not dead. He is fighting for his life. He's in a scary situation. I'm not the most confident about his ability to make it out, but if he does and he manages to recover, he is going to be in the lower bracket, which means that the loser of this is going to have to face Neeb probably in the round of 6. And that's not something you want to do under any circumstances.
Yeah, Neeb's group has not been great, but if he gets out of it, he's still an absolute contender to take the crown. We're gonna have to see though. Actually, Steadfast, before we get into this game, I got a question for you. Is it 2-0? Does Asuna have the madness, or does DisK tie it up?
Well, he's building his gateway at home, so I'm gonna say DisK ties it up.
Okay. Well, go into game 3 then. Let's see what happens. And while we talked about him, we've been talking about him all day. He's up 1-0 in this best of 3. He is, for Alpha X, Blue Protoss player, Asuna.
And his opponent getting shocked by that shocking move. It is Prep Esports DisK. Sorry, Apprentice Esports, damn it. Damn it, I was looking at the P in the... Or my brain looked at the E and was like, that's Prep. No, this is Apprentice Esports. We are seeing something a little bit interesting coming out of Asuna. Look at this probe.
This probe is just out on a walk, Steadfast. It's living its best life. It's getting a breath of fresh air. It wants to explore different parts of the map. How dare you assume that this probe is up to no good just because it's a probe? That is some, I don't know, some profiling here you got going on.
Yeah, just because a probe can warp in a pylon and a Stargate doesn't mean it's going to. That's a risky mindset to have. In all seriousness, though, that probe is up to something, and it does not have the best of intentions. We're going to be seeing that pylon getting thrown down. It is double adept out of Asuna, that makes me very, very confident this is going to be a proxy Stargate. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, agreed. I was about to say, hey, Steadfast, this is a proxy Stargate, right? So I'm glad we're on the same page, but we're not right at all whatsoever here. It's gonna be Twilight. It's gonna be some invisible men. I think it's still.
This is a proxy DT drop.
Yeah,
right.
This is so cool. You told me.
Oh my.
You told me where you weren't getting shenanigans this game, Steadfast. You said Asuna made his gateway at home. Therefore, nothing crazy is happening. Why have you lied to me here today? Why have you done this to me?
My God.
My mental state is shattered. It doesn't matter. It's still scouted.
Oh, that's
so sad.
Yep. Well, see, there's the thing is what I was saying is that DisK was going to take it because he didn't build the gateway outside of his base.
No,
because DisK has time to put a stalker and put it on the map. He has time to scout because he knows that something insane is going to be happening, and he is correct. Meanwhile, Asuna going to build the Dark Shrine at home because that's where DisK is not going to be scouting.
And I think there's a second. No, there's not. Oh, no, yeah, there's a second pylon going down here as well, so it's going to take a while. I really thought we were going to see Asuna try to dive in the main base with those adepts just to force the stalkers to make a really uncomfortable decision. But you still got the wall, and he's getting an immortal out. This is not what I expected. I thought this was.
Well,
gonna be
he
a
wants
warp
to
prism.
defend.
Yeah.
He wants to defend the ability to make a war prism, and this is actually going to be the right call. That third pylon just enough to ensure the immortal gets out.
Oh,
this is
he's
hilarious.
Get two stalkers with this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he can body block them with the. Oh,
you get one.
Oh, that was a huge mistake on the micro right there. He won't even get one.
There he does.
Oh, well, okay, never mind. There he does. Little bit of positional mistake from DisK right there, underestimating the speed of the immortal. But Asuna could have gotten two stalkers right there, not easily, but confidently.
Look what's in the production tab right now for Asuna. He's getting charged.
Oh my!
What is? You know what? I got some flack in Twitch chat for saying things about North America going full crazy town. I'm not wrong. This game is insane. I'm absolutely here for it. So DT is getting warped on in the main base. Do we have any detection? No, there isn't. There's an immortal here. There's a warp prism in production. It's gonna. Oh wait, it's not gonna get depowered. There's a second pylon here. We have a lot that cancel. The play is just to kill the robo. He absolutely had the DPS for that. Just kill the robo, target fire it down, and there is not gonna make anything happen here. But now the observer should get out in time. So, oh man, Asuna just almost won this game.
Oh. Now hold the phone. He force fields out that. Yeah, he's DisK is gonna hold this, and he is targeting down the war prism, which means he will get those units. Oh, look at this. The recall gonna come on in. I feel like going after the pylons was the correct move. Honestly,
I think the answer. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, okay. Hard committing to either or was the correct answer. Waffling, switching between one and then the other, absolutely the worst mistake he could have made. Great crisis management from DisK. He blocked off the bottom part of that robot. At first, I was very confused what he was doing with those probes. He was setting up for the force fields to block off 100% of the surface area on this robo, and that was so smart.
No, it absolutely
with those
was.
probes.
Yeah, no, again, I think he absolutely had the time to go kill the robo immediately. The army was not in position. Notice with the two DTs there, waffling around a little bit, it got to 3/4 hull, no shields. Absolutely would have gone down. But Asuna, he's just prepping for round 3 of the solid. Round 1 didn't work, that's fine. He's got 2 immortals now. He's got charge. He's got double Archon. He's sitting here on 3 gateways, not all that much. And does he have no warp prism? So warpins are going to be a little bit. I'm sorry, no, he's got a gateway on the left-hand side. He's going to be fine. The question now is whether DisK is prepared for this, because this is a level of madness heretofore unseen in this series. And well, we're going to see 2 immortals here with Archons. This is a powerful army indeed that Asuna has been able to build for himself, even if the supplies are somewhat equal.
Yeah, I think the best response for DisK is what he's doing. Definitely a lot of shield batteries, and that battery overcharge buys him time for 2 more shield batteries to finish, potentially even a 3rd and 4th coming online. And I was just going to say, I would love to see Zealot warp-ins. Even without charge, you know your opponent has to come to you. And I love these. Man, these are such great usages of the Sentry energy. even going to be lifting up the units as he gets force fielded out. This is looking very good for DisK. There's a lot of firepower, but he's not breaking the force fields. Asuna, you got to break those force fields, my dude.
It's not like there were any charge lists that were really trying to get on top of things. Every unit that Asuna had was fighting right there. I mean, yeah, you break the force fields eventually, but again, he had the full concave. Every single unit he had was firing. The question really is, can you break through an equal army supply when your opponent has 5 shield batteries? The answer is no here. DisK is going to take this game, and now it's 1 game for all the Marvel Steadfast, 1 game for the upper bracket.
And that is a huge amount of pressure. Now, granted, the winner of this game is going to have to face either Scarlet or Estrella in the first round of the upper bracket playoffs. And that's going to be tough for anyone. That's going to be an extraordinarily difficult task. But that being said, you know, we've already seen Asuna can pull out some very crazy stuff. If you give him a bit of prep time, you never know what's going to happen. And DisK, we have seen him play some fantastic games this season. So whoever wins this will definitely be an extreme underdog against a Scarlet or Estrella. But I wouldn't entirely count them out.
I think DisK versus Estrella is his dream. I think he can absolutely, maybe not take that, but certainly make it rather close indeed. I think Asuna versus Estrella or Scarlet, or really DisK versus Scarlet, that is really not what they're going for. By the way, bit of an update. We talked about what happens elsewhere in the group. Neeb is currently up 1-0 on Nina. So, you know, there's a shot here that Neeb will be able to secure his spot right here, right now, if he wins game number 2. I don't really have any updates on how game number 2 is going, because we're getting ready to get into our very own, not game 2, but game number 3. Steadfast, you've seen 2 games. You've seen these players before over the course of the last week. You got to call it right now. Is it DisK? Is it Asuna?
I think it's DisK. I think DisK gets it.
DisK, that's my inclination too. DisK 2-1 is the call. We're going to have to see whether that is right, whether DisK or Asuna has 1 level of craziness more. Game 3, it's here. In the upper right, in the red, falling in game 1, taking game number 2, he is, for Prentice Esports, DisK.
And his opponent, spawning down in the bottom left, representing Alpha X. He's doing it again. It is Asuna in the blue. Says it's time for another proxy. Show me what you got. Can you hold this off? Oh, I never noticed that. Look at the cool effect of the acceleration zone on that gateway. That is neat.
That is very fancy. It's you know, it's hypnotic. You know, the way you stare at it more and more.
It's mesmerizing. Yeah.
We're not gonna be casting StarCraft anymore. Just, you know, staring at it.
Asuna proxying a pylon, by the way.
Steadfast, don't think, just feel, just experience, immerse yourself in the wonderful chaos that is Group A, that is an Asuna game.
By the way, Asuna lost his initial probe, but he killed the probe of his opponent.
Worth?
I assume he lost the probe right here that he probably wanted to build shield batteries with. So I would say no.
Yeah, no, not
it's
really.
It's going to be Proxy Stargate, though.
Yeah, and
this is a multi-level bamboozle.
Steadfast, every single game we've seen from Asuna in this series is a multi-level bamboozle. We had, you know, game 1, we had we had the Proxy Gateway Cyber into Proxy Stargate into Robo. That one was a little bit less bamboozling, but then we had, you know, Proxy Twilight, DT at home, of course, to make sure that DisK did not scout that, because who puts their Dark Shrine in their own base into a Charged Out Immortal Archon all in? That didn't really work out for him, but, you know, that was a tri-level bamboozle here. And now, well, we got the 2 levels of bamboozle happening. And did DisK see that with this probe?
I don't think so. Oh, he does. He did. He did.
Yes.
That is huge, because these are the first 2 shield batteries, and that is what kept that Void Ray alive initially. So canceling both of these, which he's going to be able to do, is gigantic. Absolutely monumental for DisK right here.
Yeah, unfortunately, just putting those shield batteries just a little bit too close to the base. And of course, you want to put the shield batteries as close to the edge of the base as possible. It makes the Void Rays able to just sit and do damage that much more. But DisK, he's going to have 4 to 6 Stalkers out by the time that Asuna is really able to get anything done. And that, while it's not one-shot, it is approaching one-shot potential. It's approaching two-shot potential there for the Void Rays, which is where things get rather scary. If your Void Ray gets into the red off of one volley, it becomes a problem. Anyway.
Oh, it becomes a gigantic problem. I will say, DisK needs to cancel that one Stalker. He could have had Warp Gate done on that gateway, but because it's building it in as normal, it actually slows down the production a lot. We are going to be seeing Battery Overcharge getting popped versus Shield Battery Overcharge. Prismatic Alignment versus Shield Battery Overcharge. Yeah, that's actually going to be good for... I think it's okay for DisK. He rides out the Prismatic Alignment, is getting a decent bit of damage on these Void Rays, draining a lot of shield battery energy, but his shield battery count is not high enough.
It's actually really interesting here. We're seeing DisK attempt the same hold that he did in the previous one, where he goes and he gets Blink rushed, off of one base here, eventually getting some gateways, sure. But he says, look, as long as I can keep my Stalkers alive, I trust in my Blink micro to make this happen. This is a game, by the way, where I don't believe anything has died. It's 2 probes and a probe and a pylon. Not really all that much time, but there we go. As that cast occurs, Stalkers are starting to fall here because Prismatic Alignment is a powerful drug indeed. And we're starting to see Asuna do what he did in the previous game. He's bought himself a bulkhead into the Protoss player's base. He's found himself a position where he can start to knock down some pylons, given the opportunity, and that's where things get really nasty, where DisK is no longer allowed to produce units, where DisK is no longer allowed to actually just be supply blocked. But okay, so we have with shield batteries on the left-hand side here. The rotation's a little bit awkward for DisK right now. But of course, the DisK is not really allowed to go deal with the shield batteries on the natural because the Void Rays are going to run on over, or they're going to depower all his production in the main. So he's going to have to get that one up, and now, well, Asuna has 2 pushing spots.
Yeah, and DisK has made a similar mistake as Game 1, not reinforcing the pylon on those gateways. And it is going to get picked away at right here. He does lose a Void Ray, though. So DisK already in a much better spot. But, oh, the battery overcharge not in time to save that pylon. And now it is back on cooldown. Blink has completed. And that, honestly, DisK is very close to having enough Stalkers to blink underneath the Void Rays and snipe them.
Not with the Immortal there, I don't think. But it doesn't matter.
Wow, I didn't even see that the Immortal had popped out yet.
Yeah, no, but he's winning the fight in the air. That's really, he's Blink Micro at this point. He's going to have those gateways repowered once again. And I think this really is a game of fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Asuna, he's just not getting nearly as much. DisK did the small things. He prevented those shield batteries earlier. He was able to get a couple. He was able to kill a Void Ray earlier, all that fun stuff. But now, I mean, we are starting to see the production get really camped here. So it's only 1 gate, I believe, for DisK right now, which means for the moment, Asuna is able to outproduce just a little bit. He has cut Void Rays for a moment, but he's going to have more here now. One Immortal will go on down, as now DisK is blinking for his life, blinking for his shot in the upper bracket here, and he is not losing that many Stalkers just yet. We're going to start to see some Void Rays get target fired on down. Nice micro here with a shield battery, but Overcharge is going to get popped once again. That Void Ray has got to be very careful indeed. It's not going to go down, but it's going to go red. And this is an incredibly bruised army here from Asuna.
Yeah, there was a little bit of missed micro right there from Asuna with his Immortals. They weren't actually attacking what they needed to be. DisK is floating so much money, though. He needs gateways. He only rebuilt 1 initially. Another one is now in production. Wait. He could have been up at 4 gateways, 5 gateways even right now. But his money, he is floating so much, and that may very well be his undoing here. Oh, what a way to go out in this match potentially.
Steadfast. Oh, another Void Ray will go down. Steadfast. Asuna, I love what he did right there. So he understands that right now his army is powerful. If the game goes longer, it's maybe not going to be all that great. So he forces a fight by target firing down the Cybercore. If the Cybercore dies, it doesn't matter how many gateways you have. You're not going to have any anti-air coming out anymore. There we go. The Cybercore is dead, but luckily DisK, he understands what's happening. He's going to be able to build another one. But now the Artosis pylon is going to go down. So much of that was powering so many shield batteries, was powering one of those gateways, and now with 3 Immortals here. 3 Immortals to 4 Blink Stalkers, Steadfast. That is not a fight that DisK can afford to win. So he's going to pull his probes, try to make something happen. But of course, more and more Immortals here, more and more Void Rays. I said, DisK, it looks like he's holding. It looks like he has learned from that game number 1, but no longer here. It is now triple the army supply for Asuna. He is looking, how do you stop this anymore?
That's the thing. You don't. At this point, you don't. He's lost half of his worker line. He's lost way too much production, and Asuna is going to be able to open up that big book of Protoss BS and pop his way